He,
What's up?
he fooled you. You're coming in next week.
Oh,
But he's here now, so
Coming
it's all
next week
good.
too. I know. I'm just messing with him. You're coming next week. Don't think you're getting out of next week.
is it over? Did I miss it?
No, it's just starting,
No, this
man.
is the after chat for the other show.
What other show?
Okay, see, Stone Guy, this is where you're gonna piss me off.
I'm in Cali, boys. I'm in Monterey Bay. Not
I'm
Monterey Bay.
fucking Stone Guy. I'm just messing with Stone Guy. No, I just had a show. It's over. We have an after show. Now you are on it.
And you
What
are
do you-
live.
What? And you're live. What are you eating?
Pizza. Check this shit out.
What do you got? Oh, he's California dreaming, folks.
Oh, I'm hating right now.
Yeah,
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Didn't that warning sticker say don't take selfies out that window?
Well, guys,
I'm
this
in
is
California.
So yeah, you're 7 o'clock there then. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it
I'm
was.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I hear you, brother. Well, this is the Stone Guy 223 Tack Daddy Live after show. So technically, you missed the Tack Daddy show, but you are on the after show.
And technically, you're the guest next week, so don't spill all the beans on this one.
Now we'll keep it. We won't ask you much.
Go
We won't ask you
political.
anything actually on this. As far as that goes. So save all the good stuff for next week. Tack Daddy Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. But anyway, real quick, do some quick introductions from my left. We've got gun websites.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. And then we've got Ghost Down Custom Knives.
Yo.
And we've got Jacob Herman from Century Firearms.
What's up?
And the Tack Daddy himself.
With my new owner's manual, so I'll be occupied learning about all American AKs.
Yep. And then we got Midwest.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, awesome show. Pretty much just want to talk a little bit about NRA, and then we got a couple topics we didn't get to on Tack Daddy show that we're going to cover. But,
Edge jumped on.
oh, Jesus. No, it's all good. I'm just fucking That's Edge 4006. Keep it classy, Edge.
Texas in the house.
Always.
So NRA was a great show. I heard the second largest turnout of any NRA show thus far, so I think that was hugely positive. Saturday was shoulder to shoulder, almost too crowded, but they had a great turnout overall. So
Can I say something?
absolutely.
How do I say this? What's interesting about the NRA, the event, is that no matter how you twist it, the majority of the people there are still the absolute stereotypical NRA member that you would draw if you were someone that said, hey, draw me a crowd of NRA guys.
Now, really, you thought so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now,
See,
I'm talking about in general, just milling around, looking at stuff, hanging out.
Okay, now that's true,
Oh, man.
but I did
Lots
see.
of overalls, trucker hats everywhere, white bread America, redneck America, which I love. But my point is that organization needs to continue to reach out beyond just getting some commentators of other nationalities and other cultures. There's all entire other cultures that are gun fans. Why are they never at an NRA event?
Well,
They were. We had Turkish guys. There were Asian guys.
That was just lunch one day.
That's not the point.
I think for the most part, no, I did see that. I mean, typically they think of the NRA as the Elmer Fudd guys that as long as they have their shotguns and their deer rifle, they don't care about our black rifles and our cool tactical stuff. But it seems like we had a lot of, I don't know, I saw a lot of younger generation there. I saw a lot of, the 20-somethings and 30-somethings that were, I think, the future of, of the gun community.
Also in
Yeah,
Nashville, so
I
is
would've
that
loved to.
I know.
predominantly what's the makeup of that community and where the in Nashville, I guess. And then
Agreed.
you could
Agreed.
also look if you said it was the second largest one in record. I'm assuming it was the largest one in 2013, or was the largest one last year.
Indianapolis.
It's the second largest one ever.
So they said last year was the largest one.
hmm Yeah.
So that means it's just it's on the decline a little bit then, unfortunately, but still
Not really.
second. Well, if the last year was the largest, then it's going down a little bit.
Well,
But I
from
guess
what they
the question
expected
is,
to what showed up, I believe the number was somewhere 10,000 plus
all
more.
right. Well, my point is that it's an extremely large show either way, and you've got. I would suggest looking at the ratio of attendees. If you're going to look at demographics, look at the ratio of attendees compared to a smaller year.
I
That
don't
would
know
be a
what
true
the I don't know
indication
what
of
the
whether or not the populations are increasing, because it's. I would say it's not doing justice to the organization, and they have done efforts to reach out to other demographics, and it's not doing justice to just look at the general population and go, it's still majority old fat white guys, and then say they should do more, because I suspect they have done something, and it's probably done some difference in the makeup of the demographic.
It was in a southern state with enough hotel rooms to accommodate the majority of people that they know are going to show up because they're lifelong members, they're contributors to the ILA, they're the hardcore. They know that number and they know what's coming. And to put it in a place where time and time again I heard, and again I'm just being critical, not bitching and moaning. I had a great time. I thought it was a great event. I thought it was well organized. It was not chaotic. However, I heard more and more people. Casey had to stay 20, 30, and Stone Guy, you had to stay, what, 30 minutes out of town?
Absolutely. I mean, all
You
the
think they
hotels.
were? So it sounds like they weren't surprised by the amount of traffic. They got less than they expected. It wasn't like it got twice as much response as they thought, and all of a sudden all the hotels were overwhelmed. They just didn't plan it in a good spot, you're saying?
Maybe. I'm just saying that's a factor. There definitely were not enough hotels within walking distance to
There's
accommodate.
never enough hotels, though. In Houston, there wasn't enough hotels, and in Indy, there wasn't enough hotels.
All right. So that's what I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
They
there's no
require
city,
convention centers.
there's no city outside of Vegas that can handle 70,000 plus attendees.
Mine could, but you'll never bring it here.
To where Vegas? No, absolutely not.
Chicago.
Chicago.
No, absolutely not. So a lot of the NRA shows are picked for their potential for future legislative purposes, bring it into the state. The other problem with it is there's just not that many states that want the NRA. There's convention centers that have anti-gun rules. There's, all these other issues. It takes major convention planning, goes several years out.
That's what kind of screws us, because our major convention center has anti-gun rules in place, and we are a state that would love to have the NRA show come here.
Didn't a media outlet have to actually do what's it called, a reprint or retraction because they made a statement saying, or it was an MSNBC, they made a statement saying that it's hypocritical that the NRA hosting an event where you can't carry, which wasn't true.
Well, we could
Did
talk
they
about
know.
pull or write a retraction, though? They were wrong.
That's not a retraction. I don't know. Was it this thing? Because the state law in Tennessee was you can carry, and you could absolutely carry in there. They had a lot of people open carrying, and then
They had printed that and took a blurb out. The guns on the convention floor, like the our guns at the company display, had firing pins removed, and that's just show policy. We do it at SHOT Show, NRA, any show, buy group show, any show where we're displaying guns, we take the firing pins out.
which is just smart. That's smart practice in general.
Right.
Just to,
There were more stories about places around town that would have a banner up that says "Welcome to the NRA, no guns inside our place."
Right.
Like, literally would
Now,
have
since
that.
we have somebody that's from a manufacturer who does these shows, I might be mistaken, but the way I understand it is you have to remove those firing pins for the children.
I've never been told that. We just remove the firing pins because it's usually convention policy.
No, I'm just talking shit. Yeah, that's so you can look at the guns and not have to worry about it. But
Yeah, about
well,
somebody.
even in some of the local, like my local FFL, for instance, they were actually kind of slapped on the wrist by the ATF that had just a general audit one day. ATF came in to do audit the books, and they had a 338 and a 308 displayed on the counter, out for anybody to touch and play with. And the bolt was in it, no trigger. I mean, ready to go. You know what I mean? And they were, obviously it's a private business. They can do what they want, but the ATF was kind of like, you need to at least remove that bolt or remove the firing pin, because anybody could walk in with a cartridge, place it in that firearm, and be ready to go. And I know that's worst case scenario, but I think it's just a matter of kind of covering your own ass and thinking ahead of the worst case scenario.
How about it just kind of makes sense, though, if you're going to display firearms in that much of a manner, and that it's different in a gun shop. In a gun shop, you usually have a worker there that's right there with you, especially if you're handling a gun. When you have them on display, even if you have them on leashes, you still have the average Joe just walking up and touching it.
Right. Well,
yeah, you're in the South, so there is probably some dumb redneck stupid enough to bring bullets to drop in and try out the gun.
Yeah.
Hey,
the coolest thing about the NRA show, it was my first NRA show. It was, phenomenal, to say the least. And we'll save some of the, I don't want to give anything away, but I will say this. It was the first time I got my hands on a Canic, and I will own one. I thought it was a fantastic pistol. Ergonomics, the capacity, everything. I'm sold on the Canics for sure. So check those out. I think I've got a video coming out of on the Canic pistol, but I was impressed, especially for the price point.
That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely.
They're great guns, man. Again, they're definitely great shooters as well. It's not just the ergonomics; they're good shooters.
DP-12. I don't know if you guys saw that. With some kind of double-barreled shotgun that's kind of going to give the Keltec. What's Keltec's little version?
KSG.
Yeah, the KSG. I think it's going to blow KSG out of the water. Again, I don't know. I didn't get a video on that. I've got some pictures of it, but
I saw that I saw the videos on that one already, and yeah, that looks pretty nice compared to the KSG. And with all the problems the KSG has still, it will probably surpass it easily.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, from a manufacturer, someone in the industry's point of view, if you could, what was kind of the coolest thing you saw at NRA, firearm related, other than your own products?
Armalite built a Star Wars gun.
Oh yeah, the Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Told you.
I'm actually getting one.
Really, you want one?
No, I've already, Nick and I already worked it out. You guys know my new roommate is Jeremy Gresham, the Eastern Sales Manager for Armalite. So I saw that and I was like, hey, I got to get one of those. What else did I see that was cool? Oh, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm cool.
I've got a pair of black powder cap and ball pistols coming for a little project.
That'll be fun.
What else did I see? Oh, Kimber is getting me a 375 H&H Caprizi for my Safari in the fall. That was cool.
Oh, nice. Kimber had some neat stuff, man. They had this Onyx, a little 1911 called the Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
That was a slick-looking gun. First time I'd seen that.
My old rifle manager when I was at Red Jacket back in the day is now the rifle manager at Kimber, Peter Leach. Good dude.
Yeah, what was awesome is Kimber's booth was set up, I think, either real close or right next to Les Bear. And I got to chat with Les Bear for a little while, and see a couple of his firearms, and he was a cool dude. Had some neat stuff. Overall, I think that the tone of, from my understanding, is a lot more relaxed and a lot more personable than a SHOT Show atmosphere. I think you could, you know, I don't know if it's because there's more public involved, but it seemed like to me, from my perception, that all the vendors and exhibitors were very accommodating, you know, all around. So.
How often in advance do they let people know where the venue's going to be?
The NRA meeting?
Yeah.
Like a year?
Post 17 pretty soon.
Yeah.
So it's almost like because they did it in Houston a couple of years back, didn't they?
Yeah, I was in Houston. I'm already trying to book my rooms in Louisville for next year.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to be in Kentucky next year?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's awesome though, because I'm in Atlanta, so that's still relatively close. You know,
What part of Atlanta are you in?
South Atlanta.
Really?
Atlanta. Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, man. We'll have to get with you off air. See
In
about
Old Fourth Ward Park.
Oh, right on. Right
The
on.
problem with Louisville is all the hotels are downtown, and this will be at the fairgrounds south of town, so it's like a 20-minute commute for everybody.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know how the logistics are going to be.
Everybody will stay downtown, and then we'll commute in the mornings.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll probably run some kind of shuttle service.
Yeah, it always sucks though because the fairgrounds are so far away.
So they've held it there before at that venue?
Yeah, there's only certain venues that can handle it.
Now, was this the first year at the up in Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville. The convention center is new, so this is the first big convention in the convention center.
Okay. I was wondering, the convention center was immaculate, man.
How was this one laid out?
Several stories.
One big room?
Yes, for the most part. For the convention itself, and then all the little book signings and presentations and those types of things were in other rooms.
Yeah, there was.
The convention center there was big enough to handle it as far as the show itself?
Oh, absolutely. Like the second floor, like the media, where I went to get my media credentials and pass and all that, was on like the second floor in a big room, and they had all the media set up there, and you were able to plug in and link up and do all your stuff in that big room. And then they had seminars in another room, and then on the third floor was the actual exhibit. In that, you're probably, I don't know, what would you say? Probably maybe four or five football fields.
They said something like 9 football fields total was or 9 acres. 9 something.
9 acres.
Yeah, it was a big, again, it seemed like, let's say compared to SHOT, it seemed like the main floor at SHOT maybe, but without all those side rooms and out the downstairs. None of the.
Well, but I get the impression that it has like glass and stuff. You're not like in a cave like it's SHOT.
Oh no, it's all open. Like it's all.
Because when they did SHOT in Florida, it was like in the convention center that's got windows and shit. Even when SHOT used to be in the old Vegas convention center, it was like actually like being in a building and not being in the basement of a building.
Well, there weren't windows, so to speak, but it wasn't like a closed room. There were definitely openings and stuff like that. The other thing that I did find interesting was there was no foreign media allowed. The record.
Oh
Really?
no, I didn't even catch on to that.
Did they say why?
It was assumed that because they steal designs.
Okay, I was gonna say I figured it's because they're assholes, but
Did you guys fly into Memphis, or did y'all drive?
Memphis.
Flying to Nashville.
Nashville.
Like
it would have been horrible.
That'd have been a horrible commute.
Never mind. I was thinking wrong.
Jacob, I got to tell you, man. So I got my ass handed to me when I came home with an autographed picture of your model there for my
Julia.
11-year-old
Red
son.
Army girls?
The Red Army
Who
girl.
was there? Which one was there?
I don't remember her
Julia.
name.
G-Web knows them all.
Well, was it one of the two that were at shot?
Yeah. She's a really nice girl.
So I got my 11-year-old a signed autograph picture of her, and my wife wasn't having it. She was like, "Hell no, you are not putting that up in his room."
It's not like she's naked or even close to it.
You
I
put it up in
know.
the gun room?
That's how the Russians actually load ammunition. That's the official outfit.
You need to put that up. Put
That's
that
so
up
that they
in your
don't
man
steal
cave.
anything.
Put that shit up in your man cave and be done with it.
That's what I said. I said, "All right, honey, I'll handle this. I'll put it somewhere."
Be sure to put it somewhere.
Oh, awesome. Well, Tack, what other? I know there was a couple things we kicked because of time constraints. Anything you wanted to go over as far as stories that you didn't get out this week?
Hold on. I might have closed that window. Yeah, I think I did. Hold on one second. The Magpul thing. All right, you got it.
Oh, let's talk about this real quick, because this has kind of been a little banter back and forth. The Magpul thing, like I said, fantastic company. I stand behind the company, their product, their philosophy, their business practices. But I've come to the, like I said, I'm finding my area is $29.95 for a Glock mag. I'm hearing as low as 24 for brand new Glock mags, and then and these P mags are $15.99, $16.99. So you're only talking $5 to $8 less for a non-steel reinforced Glock mag that turns out not to even work.
Well, some of you guys, I got an email from Midway today saying that they've realized they got a problem with the body. I'm sure you guys have talked about it, heard about it.
Excuse me.
But
And basically what they said is they found some kind of design. They identified the flaw initially when they were going through the T&E of it or whatever, but in their whatever correction there was never at the final production level. For some reason it was overlooked. So they're saying they're having problems with the mags in the Glock 19s and the Glock 26s, not so much the Glock 17. But they're going to basically ship out a new body. Basically, to anybody who bought the magazines, I bought 2 of them from Midway. They're just going to ship you 2 once they're released from Magpul in early May, like the first week of May.
Did you find out from the internet or whatever, or did you find out from Midway first?
Midway contacted me directly as far as an email because I bought 2
But I
of the
mean,
magazines.
you got that email before you heard about it on the news?
I didn't hear it today. I was like, it was about 4 o'clock or something when I got that email.
my understanding is from what Swell got he actually talked to one of the guys at Magpul and said that if you purchased it from somewhere like Midway or Brownells or a big box company like that, they're automatically going to issue you the new body.
That's exactly what they said in the email.
So it more or less is a recall, but they're just sending out the new body, so you're going to take your follower and your spring and your base plate and everything's going to be transferable and compatible.
It's not that it doesn't work. They just found that according to the press release or whatever, right, that it says that the mag doesn't work in other size frames, or they're having issues in other size frames. So
Yeah, it's just the Glock 26 and the 19. There's a small feeding issue. I've got a case of the mags that Drake sent me.
Have you had a chance to run any yet, Jacob?
No. I played with them in the 17. I got the letter from Robert, and they said that, hey, they run in the 17. They don't run in the 26 and the 19, and they're just sending out everybody a new body.
Yeah, which is cool of them to admit that they got a flaw.
Yeah.
And they're going to just do the customer
and
right.
they're not requiring people to do anything for the most part, unless you went and bought yours at a store or something, which very few people have. Like Edge just said, they contacted
caught it
him.
pretty early. I saw the video the guy put out yesterday, day before yesterday, where it was having the failure to feed issues, but it looked like it was a Glock 35 that had
Right.
been
Yeah, that was
modified.
PR Chico from Shooter's Mindset.
Yeah, I've got a Zev. It's hit or miss. You know, when you start screwing and building a race gun, everything's real. They just don't work like they regularly do. So I want to see it. I'm going to take it home and run it in a stock 17, stock 19, stock 26, and see what happens to it.
Yeah. In either way, I think that Magpul was definitely trying to fill a niche that, you know, with as many firearms that are compatible with Glock magazines, you know, with Chris Vectors and the just a ton of them. But the other one I wanted to mention, the
What, the sub 2000?
well, not really. I didn't want to mention them, but no, it's all right. The Just Right carbines. I really am a fan of the Just Right carbines. It's a group of veterans, military veterans that started that company, and phenomenal guns in my opinion. I've been able to get my hands and shoot a few, and they work well. So, and they're compatible with all the different calibers of the Glock magazine. So I think, you know, it was a smart business move for Magpul to release a Glock mag.
Oh, they make great products too. I mean, in general, nobody's had any complaints of their products for the most part. So, like I said, I think it's bigger than them. Again, like Joe said, and that they're just, you know, taking care of the customer and saying, hey, it happens, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like anything, you know, there's always going to be some little quirks, little bugs to work out when you first throw a product out there on the market. And
It does kind of make me nervous if they're going to release more Glock magazines, or do you think they'll catch it all before they release the 19 version?
oh, absolutely. You got to think from a logistical business perspective. They're obviously, you know, they're probably taking a big hit having to remanufacture bodies and reissue, you know, to issue those out, you know.
They sold out all those magazines on Midway within a couple of hours. I got the email, you know, that they're available. Like 3 or 4 hours later, they were all gone. And you imagine Midway stocks a shitload of them.
How much are they?
Like $15.
$15.15.
What's the dealer cost on them?
I don't know.
I would imagine, yeah, they're probably making a hell of a premium on those, since they're strictly, you know, injection. I'm assuming injection molded, with no steel reinforcement. It's, you know, I'm not in that industry, but
One local vendor here, I saw they put a post on Facebook. Top Brass Military was you know, advertising they have them in stock now. Just got them in, and they're selling $15.95, or basically like a 80-cent markup or something like that, compared to Midway.
yeah, but no, he's talking dealer. He's talking, you know, when you're ordering big, you know, I don't know, what would you think, Jacob? Maybe $5.
No. I'd say a dealer pays $12 for it, $13 for it.
Oh, really? That much? You think there's that small of a margin?
There's not a huge margin in mags. There's just not. It's not a keystone item because you got guys that are ordering, you know, they're ordering 10,000 a whack, some on Gun Broker and stuff. There's just not a keystone margin on it. I'd say they're giving $13, $12.50, $12. You know, I didn't know that. I just looked on Midway. I didn't know that, like, the dealer price on a PMAG was $15. I usually give around 10 for them, $10.50.
Damn. Yeah. See, I paid about 12 or 13 for my PMags.
Right. So I'd assume that these Glock mags will get down in the $13 a piece. So you're looking at, you know, almost 2 for 1.
Hey Jacob, I got a question. You don't mind?
Go for it.
Hey, you look like a fairly, you know, young guy. Let me ask you, what's it like to be you, doing what you're doing for a living and every day, you know, from wake up to going to bed?
Today it's exhausting.
You work for Century?
I do work for Century. I do all of our business development. I this month I've been in the office 6 hours, and this month in my office I went in my apartment, changed out my bag, headed back out. So I had we had NRA, then I was in Atlanta, then I flew to the office for 6 hours, got in at 7 a.m. yesterday morning, flew out at 6 a.m. to California today.
Wow.
Leave here, go to Philly. Leave Philly, go to our facility in Vermont. Leave Vermont, go to Warrior West in San Diego, support military sales on the West Coast, and then I fly back to Florida.
Where's Century based out of?
Century's our manufacturing and import and exports in Burlington, Vermont, north of Burlington, and our executive office is in Delray Beach, Florida.
Oh, okay.
But it's fun. I get to shoot a lot. I get to play with a lot of cool toys. I get to design a lot of new products.
So how big is Century now?
We have 130 employees.
Hey, I remember something back when wasn't it Century that back when they were forgot what they were banning, and you guys tried to bring to light that how that would stop a branch of your growth or something. Was it a pistol?
They wouldn't let us bring the Garands in.
Oh, that's what it was when they stopped when there was executive order killed the Garand.
There was a lot when you send people over there and flights to Korea and all the lawyers and legal and the whole 10 people working on something for a year. We ended up that was part of the layoff we had was the money that those Garands never materialized, and we were it was a big hit for our company. It was a hit for the American gun owner. Those guns were built by Americans. They were America's battle rifle. They were exported to our partners, and our government won't let us bring them back. Those guns deserve to be in the hands of American riflemen.
I've heard rumors to how many, but do you have an approximate count of how many rifles or pallets you're talking about?
There's I don't even know at this point. Over 50,000.
Wow.
Are they still?
And that's a low estimate. It could be $250,000.
Is it reversible? Are they still somewhere that we can get them?
Not under this administration.
They're in
They
Korea,
haven't
right?
been destroyed or sold to somebody else.
No, the Koreans won't destroy them. No.
I thought a bunch of them got shipped over to Australia.
Well, that's when he did
They have guns though. I thought they couldn't have guns.
maybe for their military or something. Who knows?
There's a lot of people that are paid by the government to hunt in Australia.
No, but the whole thing was the
You can also have guns in Australia. You can get licensing and stuff and get them.
Yeah, there's some big gun stores. We deal with gun stores in Australia, but they're not using grants to do it.
Well, that was the whole re-importation of military firearms that was up for the
It's still
restriction or the ban.
effective to this day.
Right. And so, but the weird thing is, I mean, when's the last, and I guess the how they got this to pass, who knows? I guess it was just a stroke of a pen. That
Yeah, it was an executive order. They didn't have to pass anything.
Just doesn't make sense. I mean, when's the last time you heard of a drive-by shooting with a Garand? I mean, those weapons those aren't firearms that are typically involved in any kind of gun crime. And if that was the kind of their platform for, I don't even know what platform.
It was just the government was looking, that was one more way they could stroke a pen and keep freedom-loving, law-abiding Americans from buying firearms. Period. There was no rhyme or reason.
Shitty. Yeah, they're on this administration.
But if those would have come through, basically you guys would have imported them and then cleaned them up and looked at them, inspected them or whatever, and then sold them?
Probably just sold them as is.
Oh, okay.
How long has Century Arms been importing weapons?
57 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We're the largest importer in North America.
That's awesome.
We import more machine guns every year than FN.
Do you export also?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of export clients are there, or can you talk about that?
Government.
Okay.
Yeah. We have 100,000 square foot under bond with customs agents on site.
And that's just to facilitate stuff coming in and out, so that you don't have to go too.
Like the other day, I was in there and we had 2 pallets of Bergman MP28 receivers from God knows where.
Jeez, nice, man.
Does everybody on here know what a Bergman MP28 is?
I'm guessing it's from World War II.
Pre-World War II, is it similar to an MP5?
No, it's a side mount. It's like a Southern 34, 32, developed for the really high quality submachine gun, developed for the German police, the SA, which was the precursor to the SS, kind of. It was like the local national police. They were milled, kind of looked like a Sterling.
Crazy. So do you got somebody like Indiana Jones, or some multiple people out combing the world looking for stashes of guns to bring?
Yeah,
in?
we got offices all over the world.
That's pretty cool. So do people like warlords bring guns to you, or people
No, it's
know
all
somebody?
It's all up and up government.
So, but this is like surplus stuff, like stuff they've had in their armories and inventories, and they're like, hey, we can sell it to the Americans.
Right, and then we'll trade them stuff for it. Yeah.
Oh, trade them. Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll trade them new Glocks or whatever. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Let me lock in on you here, Jacob. All right.
Oh, okay.
Now, speaking of Glocks, I got to get your take on because everybody's all about the Glock 43 now. What's your take on the Glock 43?
It's a nice little gun. I mean, I played with it. It's a Glock, so it works. I've carried a Glock I'm 31, 16, since I was 16, 17 years old, carried a Glock. So, obviously I carry TB9 SA now, but I think I was carrying a Glock 26 on Friday. So single stack's good. It has its advantages. I like carrying a full-size gun. I'm 6'4", so I carry full-size gun a lot. I'll carry a 226 or a TB9 SA or a Glock 17. But it's a single stack 9, and for guys that like single stack 9s, it's probably the most reliable one you can buy.
Well, if you don't mind, were you disappointed about the size difference between it and the 26, being it, what was it, less than a quarter-inch slimmer?
A quarter-inch is a lot, though, when you're talking about a gun that's,
It really is. I mean, when I actually did a video for shameless plug, go check out my latest video I did on the Glock 26 or the Glock 43 at NRA. In the hand, it's definitely thinner. It is basically the guy from Glock told me it was the exact same size as a 26. Like you could sandwich them together, and they're identical.
Yeah.
Except for the difference is it's thinner, and that thinness does make a difference, especially if you're talking about making this a primary concealed carry option. The only disadvantage I see out of the gate is the MSRP seems a little high for what it is, but I know that'll come down. And then the fact that there's no, modularity between the different magazines like you have with the 26 and the 19 and so on. But
well, I guess that's why I expected it to be smaller than it really was, because you lost that commonality with the magazines, like you said.
But it's reliable.
We go back to.
But so is your Glock 17, and if you
right, but you're not carrying a Glock 17. That's the thing. You're saying every time you go down from a full-size battle pistol, duty pistol, you're saying my safety is only worth this much today, right? So when people get down to a single stack, they're like, well, I'm only going to carry 5, 6, 7 rounds. I mean, there's guys running around with Kel-Tec 32s as their everyday carry piece, and so to those guys, a single stack 9mm that's still slim, like a Shield or a Ruger, whatever that thing is, or a Bursa. I've got a BP9, Bursa BP9, been carrying it for about a year when I need something slim. I carry it, shoot it all the time, but it's only got 6 rounds in it.
I see your point there.
Yeah, you can't, so it's not as thin, it's not as small, but you still want it to be reliable. And a lot of those small pistols on the market, I've shot them all. and when you shoot a lot, they are not reliable.
Absolutely, and if you want to go strictly statistics, your typical, gunfight, if you will, statistically speaking, is less than 3 shots, at less than 7 feet. So having a concealed carry option of 6+1 is statistically more than enough.
It's
But there's
equal.
people that
That pistol is equal to everybody else's 1911.
Well, I understand it wasn't a matter of the bullets. I just given up the ability to take the mag out and slip it in a different Glock. I just personally, I expected it to be just a tiny bit more smaller than what they really made it.
Well, I think it's going to fill a different niche, like you said. It's
Oh,
I
I
honestly think that
I
Glock
know
had
there's
to get out there and compete with Shield, for instance. I mean, Shield, I think, is a fantastic firearm, and Glock needed to have something on the market to give that a run for its money.
But is it small? So, in my opinion, like everybody, and I've heard that. I'm like, we want to do smaller. Man, I don't know how much smaller you can make a 9mm to make it reliable. But nobody, all these guys that carry 1911s, they don't feel undergunned with a commander, and they only have 6 rounds.
I don't know. I'm one
Well,
of the
like Yankee always tell us, statistically you only need a couple, right?
Well, yeah, and that's what Stone Guy said, but still, I feel better carrying my Glock 19 or my Glock 23 versus a Glock 26 with less rounds in it.
A 23 and a 20. What's a 23?
23 is a 40 cal, and 26 is 9
right.
millimeter.
Yeah, I've carried a lot of 19s. Yeah.
I have a 23 that I convert between 9 and 40 cal, so I either have 13+1 or 15+1, and I always carry a spare mag of the same size, if not bigger.
Well, just pick one.
No, it defeats the purpose of getting.
Buy another gun, man. Why are you changing barrels?
Because I'm a cheap asshole.
I just bought a 44
I am a cheap asshole, and I can't afford to buy 2 Glocks.
I hear you.
I'm going to start carrying a revolver.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I would love to buy a nice Century AK, but if I buy that second Glock, that gets pushed down the list a lot longer. So,
I mean, if everybody's you got to have a handgun, you got to have a rifle. It depends on what your arsenal looks like. I would rather have a rifle than a handgun, but that's just me.
Absolutely. I think
this is my new carry piece.
What's that? Let me lock in on you here.
Sweet.
What's that?
3-inch 44 special.
Oh, nice.
Just telling someone if I carried a revolver would only be a 40. 44 is the only way I'd ever carry a revolver.
44 special. Yeah. I love it.
Hey Jake, I was going to ask you, since you guys import quite a bit of stuff, do you get to see some of that import stuff, or are you more on the new sales, or you get to play with the new imports that are coming in?
Like what?
Rifles and whatnot.
Well, yeah. So I work really closely with Canic. We import those pistols. We have a product development team I'm on for that. For the rifles, the Serbian guns, they all come through the same chain. So all the new guns, the M92s, the NPAPs, the Wassers, I sell all those. Those all fall under marketing. There's just not a lot of surplus anymore. We just don't see a lot of true surplus like Mosins, Mausers. That stuff's pretty much out.
Right on.
But when it comes in, I'm a rifle geek, so you can be rest assured that I would be front and center on that. I just bought some K31s. That's like the finest rifle, bolt action rifle ever made, in my opinion.
I'm a big K31 fan, and I saw one at a gun show. They were like pristine, almost unhandled. They had these blonde beechwood K31s that looked like they had never been issued, perhaps, with the stamp on them. They're really nice. They were like $350, really good price too.
I got a rule, and even for me, like if I'm at a gun show, if I see a K31 or a SKS under $300, I buy it.
Now, what's the is it the Vepers that we can't get in the States?
The Sagas,
So, no, is it? Now, what's the one that Biker
So the
Bob?
peppers are still available then?
the you can't get the Sagas. Those were banned. We have the Fury, which is like a Saga clone that you can get.
Well, what's the one that Biker Bob always says that?
He's talking about a VZ58. The
Oh,
Czech
yeah.
stock.
the
VZ58. Yeah.
We can't get those, right? What's the deal with that?
We're out. We sold them all.
But
There are no more.
you did bring in quite a few of those, right?
Yeah, we sold. Yeah, so we sold them for several years. It's kind of weird. Sales were kind of low, right? And then we put them out there, and when we sold them all, then people started wanting them.
Yeah, that's a neat looking gun. I'm really digging those.
They're real cool. CZ still imports the new ones, or they did, but they were like $1,400.
Yeah, the something 2000s.
Is well, I know we've got to save. Don't tell me anything that you was going to be a reveal on Tack Daddy's show next week, but I did want to know if you guys were ever going to do anything like a Dragunov.
Well, we had the PSLs, right? But those were surplus, and so to build a new PSL Dragunov style rifle would get really, really, really expensive.
Okay.
So probably not. There's AR-10s have come a long way. When an AR-10 was not reliable or accurate, it made sense. But the best PSL Dragunov is shooting a 3-inch group.
But
right.
that's
Where now you can get through AR-10s shooting half-minute.
Right, like our new C308, which takes 308 ammo, which is readily available. It takes G3s. It'll shoot with a Dragunov all day long.
that's a common issue, right, with a lot of the popular imports that have a limited production run or didn't make, like the most sense, millions and millions of them, that eventually they're going to dry up, and the price is only going to go up from there.
Yeah. Yeah, when we first import something, if you want it, you should buy it.
Does it have anything to do with the quality? Like, do you get the best of the batches when you get it right away, too?
No, price just goes up. Supply and demand on surplus.
Well,
Like you say, you don't necessarily have a chance to go through everything, so you just start pulling it out of boxes. It's not like you go through and weed out the
Well, it
best.
comes in Connex containers, and we just stack it up on pallets.
Now, as Century as a company, would you say, if you're allowed to even say, I don't know, is more of your business import or new manufacture?
It used to be a 90% import of surplus. Now it's 90% new manufactured goods. All the NPAPs, Wassers, M92s, RAS-47s, C39s, TP9s, that's all new. Even though it comes from overseas, some of it comes from overseas, some of it we manufacture here, but it's all new goods.
Okay.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about building a rifle of that caliber, like these import things, the bullets were made possibly by hand and so on, and to build something like that in today's market with the man hours, obviously it's uber expensive.
I didn't hear the finish of your thought there.
Sorry, the cost of like reproducing something like of a production surplus rifle, sometimes with the quality that went into building them, to build one today would be just ridiculously expensive.
Right, and the machining and stuff. Like an SKS would be like $750, $800.
Now, how are you guys able to build your AK platforms at such a reasonable price?
Because we're not building them like they did in 1950. We're building them using modern manufacturing.
Okay. All right.
Can I switch continents? I have a question about those Chinese shotguns that are coming in now.
The Fury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how does that happen? Because I thought we had a ban on Chinese stuff.
Not shotguns. We can import shotguns.
So that's how you can get the coach guns in and that kind of thing. Too.
Yeah, yeah. Those coach guns are really cool. The coolest
just
one out of all of them is the PW87, which is the lever action Browning clone.
The one from Terminator 2.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, and the
Wait.
stuff is super decent quality.
Wait, the Terminator, is that the lever action
Yep,
shotgun?
same gun.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
These
It's
hand
a
crank.
fraction of the price.
Okay.
So, is there any chance of getting Chinese AKs back?
Nope.
I wanted to hear at least a maybe.
No.
Awesome. Let's see, the other thing we want to talk. Shit, the thought just left my head. It was something about the
A bunch of other guys jumped in there. I bet you guys have Sentry
NRA.
guns.
I did have a couple Sentry guns, but then I started building my own.
Oh, shut up. Where's the eject button?
I don't even build my own.
Yeah, there's when you can get a firearm manufactured with the quality that comes from Century, there's no, at the price point especially, there's no point in building your own. That's just my personal opinion. But
That's
if you're
my
building if you're building it for a hobby, you know, because you enjoy building, that's one thing. But if for anybody out there that thinks it's not like building an AR-15 that you could, like, you could probably build an AR-15 and save a little money from what you could a factory. Like, let's say a Daniel Defense, for instance. I love Daniel Defense. You could build one yourself, same quality basically, and save a little money. But I think as far as the AKs, you know, that I've seen, especially these milled receiver, 100% U.S. made AKs from Century, there's no point. Unless you're doing it to have fun, there's no way you're going to be able to reproduce the quality for the price point that you can with Century.
Before the barrel ban, you could.
And now,
So now you got to use a U.S. barrel. I mean, when the Romy kits were first coming in, and you could get a good condition kit with a barrel already in the trunnion for $69, $79, even $149, and all you had to do was order a finished receiver from like Nodak, and then rivet it together. Then it was a fantastic deal to build your own.
Yeah, because then the cost of the material or the tools or whatever was just $8 in the first gun or two, and then you're building guns for $200. It's awesome. Then it was
Or you
just
get together
looking
all
for
your buddies
furniture.
and build them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that said he built his own guns left.
I hope he just had internet problems. He knows I was just busting his balls.
He just bought a K31 too.
K31s are awesome. They make some scope mounts. There's a guy in Montana, Swiss Products, that makes a scope mount for it. Did you know they made a 308 K31?
Oh, that's
No.
cool.
From the factory?
Yeah, factory.
Cool.
Or are they rare?
They're about $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard of some sniper models that they actually did put scopes on and whatnot that are also rare. But I
That's
really,
a CF55.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my K31. I got it for like $240 at the gun show. That was an awesome deal. I couldn't pass that up.
That's almost exactly what I paid for mine at a pawn shop. You can't beat it for under $300.
And I was lucky.
I have a question about your AMD 63s. Are they new? Because I seen one at my gun shop and it didn't look used or anything, but I can't find it in the Century catalog.
The AMD 63s are brand new. So they're new old stock AK-63 parts kits from Hungary. And then we put a U.S. receiver on it, the U.S. milled receiver, new U.S. barrel, new U.S. trigger group, and mags. So the foreign parts are the underfolder, some of the miscellaneous small parts.
Okay, cool.
And all the wood, so it looks legit.
No, the wood's, that's original wood.
That's what I mean. So it's,
Yeah.
it looks like a legit one.
Yeah, I've had 2 Century AKs, never had a problem. I'd have one Century Canic Stingray 55, Stingray Compact, the PO1 clone. I like that gun. It was buttery smooth.
Yeah, it was a cool gun.
See, I had two Sentry. One was their C93, the first version. Great gun. And the other one was a Yugo, I think M70. So got rid of both of those whenever I started building my own. But they're both great guns.
Let me ask another. I think I've asked one of you on this panel, I know, but I've got Zastava, and it's got that side mount for an optics, and I'm trying to figure out a way to mount, a high quality optic on the top of that thing. And would you recommend the side mount or replace that dust cover with something that's got an integrated pick rail on it?
I'd get one of the RS Products mounts.
RS Regulate?
Yeah, RS Regulate.
Yeah, Jim Fuller. I was talking to Jim at the show, and he told me the same thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Well, if Fuller says it, I'd take his word on it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I get some advice from him like that. I'm going to verify it with Edge first, and then.
Not Edge, but I would Jacob, because he's played with enough, and he's in the industry. But yeah, that's that RS Regulate. I've heard a lot of good things about, so I need to get my hands on that. That the new Century, the 100% U.S. made milled. What's the new one? The CV2 or something? I know.
It was C39 V2.
C39 V2. That's next on my list for sure.
There's a sweet gun.
Very sweet gun. That Zastava was my first AK. I just got that almost a year ago now. First AK I ever owned. I was an AR fanboy up until I pulled my trigger on the first AK. And
that's why I'm kind of quiet right now. I'm the same way. I'm an AR guy mainly. I'm looking at the first AK soon.
I tell you what, there's nothing like the feeling of the bolt sliding under your cheekbone and just feeling it's just a totally different feeling than shooting an AR. And I've definitely fallen in love with the AK platform. Like I said, I just bought that Zastava, and mine's an OPAP with the RPK receiver, and I'm already, like I said, I've already been on the hunt for another one, not even a year later.
If you want something that feels a little bit different, try to find one in a 5.45. The impulse is totally different on them.
Well, that's the one. Isn't that the one that the 5.45 or the 5.45? Isn't that? We just suffered a ban on some of that ammo.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. But really, I mean, if you find it in, if you want, whenever you buy it in cases, it's right around the same price as the 7.62 stuff.
Now, maybe you could clear this up also, Jacob. I made a video a few months back because I offered some information that was neither confirmed or denied at the time. Could have been bad info. But that when the embargo was placed on, during that whole Russia and Crimea conflict that was going on, and then our president put the restrictions on Kalashnikov concern or anything under that umbrella of companies. That Tula, I made a video that said Tula ammo was going to be banned and we weren't going to see it. It's taken a few months, but I'm starting not to see the Tula ammo even in like Academy Sports and Dick's, and my theory was that the pallets or stock that we had, in the stores or on port, we've gone through that and now we're not seeing it coming in. Is that true, or?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So it all comes in batches, right? So this is my last question. After this one, I gotta go. Gotta call my girlfriend. She's on the East Coast. Ammo comes in batches, and a lot of times it'll sit in the port. You know, Tula will get backed up, Ishmash will get backed up, our Red Army plants will get backed up. They'll be making military ammo, so they'll make. So say we order 10 million rounds of 7.62 by 39, they'll make that, and then they'll make military orders. So we might not be able to get another order for 3 months, 6 months. We go through cycles of ammo. There'll be Wolf, there'll be WPA, there'll be Silver Bear, Brown Bear, Tula, Red Army, Yugo, and it's all just cyclic. The ammo wasn't banned with the Russian stuff because the way the ban was set up, it only affected concerned Kalashnikov and their guns. It didn't affect the ammo at all. There's just no Tula ammo. You know, Academy, it may not have got there. Your local store may be out. You'll go to 10 academies, and 5 of them will have Tula, and 5 of them have never stocked it. There's 5 different levels of Academy store, A, B, C, D, and E stores, and they all have a different SKU count.
Okay.
Like the Walmarts in South Florida, like some of the guys in Tennessee bought the MKE ammo at Walmart, the ZQ ammo on sale. They're buying the 308 for $8 a box and 9mm for like $6 a box. Florida stores were full price.
Okay.
But the ammo is not affected. 545 was banned. I mean, it's coming in extremely small quantities. That we're not producing any rifles in 545 anymore. The 7.62 comes in and goes out. It's a nature of the market. Because the only people that got messed up was Kalashnikov, Ishmash, and they're there's nothing they can really do about that.
Right on.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, if you could hang out 1 second. Vigilant Spectre is about to hop in. He said, tell Jacob to hang on a second. But, all right, well, that makes total sense. That makes me feel better about the, did any of that affect any of your products, directly or indirectly?
No.
Perfect.
It was just the Ishmash guns from Saga, which honestly is a very, very small amount of the market. Because if you go to Kavar, all their guns are made in Bulgaria. It didn't affect them at all. It was a small side of the market, and there's still Saga guns in distribution. And they've been banned for months, and they're still sitting in distribution. They're still on dealer shelves. You can still buy them on Gunbroker.
The price just doubled on them is all.
Not really. It did on Gunbroker for a few minutes, but they're still guns. They're still the wholesale price went up before the ban went into effect. Before they banned them, the dealers were given a price increase through distribution.
Message received.
Now you're getting in trouble.
Yeah. Hang on, I can't get the link. Anyway. How long did you guys, did you come up to the show Friday, Jacob? Were you there?
The NRA show?
Yeah, the NRA.
I was there Tuesday.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What's that next show you said you're going to? Is that a public one or is that something else?
No, I've got it. Where have I got to go Tuesday? I'm going to some Century meetings.
I got a fanboy question, if you don't mind me asking. Are you going to get one of the SOE knives or watches by chance?
Yeah, of course. John Willis is like my best friend.
Oh, I know. That's how
Yeah.
I watch.
John's a cool dude. We took when Tac Day and I went up and took a fighting pistol, we all hung out with John for a little while, and he was super cool.
Oh, it's Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you
that's
didn't- you
because
didn't know
James
him by
shows up
his-
early to everything.
You didn't recognize
always-
his channel
always
name?
early, and he's always got the coolest guns in the house.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, see, not a lot of people knew his name, and you didn't recognize his channel name, the Vigilant Spectre.
Yeah. I might pretty much drop that after my brother gets out of the military. I can't. It's just a pain in the ass. What's up, Jacob? What's up, guys? Thanks for inviting me to the chat. I'm kind of like running around doing errands at work right now. So
I made Jacob hang on just for you, Curtis.
Oh, well, I just want to drop in and say hi for a couple of minutes because I got some free time. I'm out of the facility right now. But anyway. What's up, Jacob?
What's up, dog?
Keeping these guys company?
Trying to. I gotta call my girlfriend though. She's on the East Coast. She's pissed.
Yeah. You better do that before she gets mad.
I know. I'm in California.
It's getting late.
So I'm also exhausted.
Oh, well, now I know what you mean by that. I was on a chat the other day with Jacob, and he's like, dude, if you're ever up late editing and you just need somebody to talk to, you can call me. And I'm like, no, I see you are on the West Coast, so that's
Tonight, yeah, it's 8:30 here.
Yeah, why are you out there for business, or are you?
Yeah. I've been in the office. I added up. I was in the office for 6 hours on Wednesday, and it's the only time I'll be in Florida at my office the entire month. I left before. I left in March and won't go back till May.
Damn. Yeah, you better call that girlfriend. She's gonna be pissed if you're not gonna be home for a month. Or you're out there to play.
Well, Jacob, man, I appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely catch up with you next week and talk about all the good stuff next week. But man, I appreciate you letting us kind of pick your brain a little bit on some things, and
We'll get on
hanging
next
out.
week.
Absolutely, yeah, man. We'll do
See
it.
you guys.
See you,
All right,
buddy.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
What's
Just
going
thought
on,
I'd
buddy?
drop in for a few minutes. I'm kind of out driving around, and I kind of free for a second. So.
You have your sunglasses?
Huh?
You have the George Michael sunglasses on?
Well,
They're probably close by, right?
No, I think I broke
your,
those.
I see you changed your icon picture.
Huh?
I said I see you changed your icon picture. That is a good
Yeah,
picture.
I finally figured out how to get back in that account. The channel account and the personal account that I use for like chats and stuff, they're one and the same, but they have like different emails associated with them. It's weird. It all happened when YouTube switched over to the Google YouTube thing. So.
Oh yeah, and they made you make a different channel or change your name to.
No, I actually did it on purpose because I wanted to kind of rebrand a little bit. Back when we were Vigilant Inspector, I kind of wanted to rebrand to the VSO Gun Channel. So it's helped us in search and stuff like that, and it just sounds a little bit better. As far as like when I go up and introduce myself to like industry companies.
Right. Well, and that's the same thing I think that's happened with a lot of us that, when they initially started the channel, our names don't necessarily meet up with what we're doing now or what we're, have hopes to do. So, but the sad part is, it's, unless you're a super big channel, it's someone like me that's only got 3,000 subscribers, if I drop this channel and try to start a new one, I'd be fucked. I'd have to start all over again. So.
Or you could look at it, if you're planning on get to 600,000 subs, then you might as well just start over because it's only 3,000.
Well, that's true.
Some of those big channels get close to, well, they don't get 3,000 a day, but they get a lot a day. So 3,000 would be a few days' work for some of those.
I was going to say, Spectre, that I kind of appreciate you trying to mimic my image that I have up there, my physique. But it's all good.
What's that?
I can see how you're trying to mimic my image and my physique in your picture there, but it's all good.
Yeah. I don't know, Edge. I think I might make this look good.
I don't know. How about that?
Well, I do have a photographer that is brave enough to stand in front of the gun and take that picture. So,
Yes.
so that is a little bit of a difference, but
Wait. I don't see. Hold on. Let me just check that cylinder. Is that gun even loaded?
huh? Well, that's for me to know and you to not know. You can find a higher res image of that on our official website, vsmmedia.org.
Alright.
It is actually the main photo on the What's New page. So you guys can go over there and determine if that gun is loaded or not. You'll be able to tell in that image.
Excellent.
Are you loaded?
I think it's kind of crazy when you get, you know. I mean, I know it's bad etiquette for other people, like if you're muzzling other people, obviously, you know, safety's always paramount.
Well, let me put it this way: like, we do get a lot, some viewers that come across the channel. They don't understand what we do, and
when you're running a 360 range, that's real life. Did you see? Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Did you guys see that? I want to say it was in Japan, the firearms training video. They're
Yeah, where they're like shooting across from each other.
They're literally
like line dance and shooting.
It's like four or five guys on each side, and they are literally in a slow, or I'd say a fast-paced walk, almost to a like a scurry.
If you're not about to die.
I saw it. I wasn't really that impressed with it. I didn't think it was,
Yeah, it's different though. It's something I don't think we would ever get away with in the States. Now, not to say I know training facilities that do.
What about with airsoft?
Worse than that.
What if it was airsoft? Would it have any use?
No, absolutely. I think it's got use with live fire. I think that what they were doing is a very helpful drill. You got guys that condemn it and say that's bullshit. I don't trust anybody that much. I'd never do that. I'd never. Well, realistically, I think it's real training. You've got to put yourself in that situation for that time that you do have bullets whizzing by your head.
Do you think that the whatever it was, 6 or 8 people in that unit have a different connection than people that have never done a drill like that and would never do a drill like that because they don't trust each other?
I think that's a major thing that you have to look at is exactly what G-Web's just touched on.
Maybe the cohesion. I don't even know if it's that, but it's like they all had to be working as one mind and be willing to accept that role as one of each because they were willing to put their lives in everybody else's hand, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's a level of training. I mean, it's a
level of dedication that we don't. I don't want to say promote. We don't even allow it.
Exactly.
Well, it's not only dedication, but
have that much dedication to something.
Those guys have probably known each other for a year plus at least, just to have that much trust in each other. Because
we don't know. I've never heard of translation. It's a bunch of squiggly writing and music, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, but absolutely, I would think that the more that this video gets out, I would not be surprised to see more training facilities incorporate something similar into their program.
Look,
those that are willing to do it.
Look, there are times and places for certain types of training, and it really depends what you're doing. As a sole actor, as a concealed carry permit holder, if you're pursuing training to that end, do I think that is necessarily applicable? Probably not. But if you are, if you're training as a unit, as a group, to promote your own team cohesion, or you're trying to accomplish a specific goal within your team-based training, perhaps applicable. A unit or something like that. I could see that being applicable, but a lot of the people that watch that video are you're just individual guy that is not going to be on a team kicking indoors or doing anything like that. So
Even worse,
a lot of people, and I see this a lot in this industry, who can not only consume media but are around firearms a lot. Their experience with guns is that they stand on a line and they shoot in a uniform direction at a piece of paper, and they see something that departs from that norm that is in their world, and they freak out about it. I mean, it's very simple to see on some videos that we produced where people will freak when somebody who was shooting in a different direction and then grounds the gun and turns to talk to the camera, knowing full well that there's a cameraman standing around that area. They freak about that, even though that gun is completely grounded and safe. They call that muzzling. And I just think there's a hypersensitivity in this industry that they think that anything that portrays a firearm in this manner is bad for us. Let me news for you folks. The people that hate guns and the anti-gun people that are out there to take your guns away want to take them away regardless of what the media shows. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. And everybody needs to understand that their comfort zone is not necessarily reality.
I think it's worse than that. Even that they have never trained that way. They don't even have any interest. They have the disinterest in learning that kind of, like you call it, group training or team training. If they're not interested in becoming part of a team, then they would not. How could they wrap their mind around it? You know what I mean?
Agreed. And even sometimes it's hard to integrate those kind of people into just sole actors into teams. For instance, when we took a team of guys down to Asymmetric Solutions for the very first time, they said it was a breath of fresh air to have a group of individuals that come down and train with them, because the majority of the classes that they teach to the civilian level individuals are just that, individual courses. And anytime they try to put a team together, it is a bunch of sole individuals that happen to be on a team. We always hear the mantra or the moniker of no I in team. Well, that is how it is when you're on a team. When you are doing something, especially around deadly firearms, you are a team and you have to act like one. You cannot be individuals running around frantic and crazy. You have to be squared away.
Could the danger be that if someone sees something, let's call it extreme or let's call it whatever, out of the ordinary, out of the norm, is the danger, or could the potential danger be that a kid's going to mimic it, or that people are going to try to mimic it?
I have heard that quite a bit. And, well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is that is where you have to strike the balance between parental controls and freedom. So at that point in time, where if kids are trying to emulate something they see on the internet with a live firearm, where I do, and I hate to do this, but I have to ask the question: where are the parents at? Where kids are reenacting what they see professional trainers do, or in our case, over on VSO, a very controlled space that a lot of people don't see the controls that we have in place due to editing and a few other things, standard operating procedures and whatnot. They don't see those controls, but they exist. And why are the parents not involved in this sort of thing? I was given guns as a young child, but I had limits and bounds. I didn't have complete freedom, although I did have quite a bit more freedom than your average child in the United States, and I never emulated any of the stuff that I saw on the internet with those firearms, because I was taught to respect them. So I had to ask that question.
Well, parents are getting lazy. They're not wanting to spend time with the kids, not wanting to teach the kids. They think that everything that the kids need to be taught will be taught during school. It's just, people not stepping up and being parents.
Well, I think that is another major thing. Schools are degrading. They're taking, well, schools are a major part of the problem. They're taking the parents out of the school. When I got in trouble in school, my parents knew about it. When I was, well, I never really did any poorly in any classes, so I can't really say that. But they were involved with the communications with the teacher outside of just the parent-teacher conference thing that they do that has become laughable at this point in time. Where the parents are no longer involved in the education of the child, and that is by design. That is a liberal indoctrination process. They don't want you to know what they're teaching your child.
Yep.
So
whenever we were kids going through school, just like what you said, my parents were involved with the teacher. They knew them. They'd call them up, and that was pre-internet, pre-texting, pre-cell phones, all that stuff. Whenever people actually had to make an effort, and now it's just like, oh, I got a text from your teacher, and I'm not going to care.
Well, and that it's sad because with the proliferation of technology, the communication between teachers and parents should get better. It's so easy to talk to anybody today. Like we're sitting on live chat right now with 6 people. The panel was full earlier, and we had a chat before this. We're all over the country, and I'm able to talk to you free of charge over the internet. I can see your face.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly think
there's no excuse that the communication at that level with the teacher and the parents and the involvement of parents should be better than it was when we were children.
I think it really, I don't want to downplay it too much because I think it really does depend on the school and the parents' willingness to get involved. I know, in our school system we have a lot of technology with being able to see grades posted immediately. As the teacher puts them into a database, they're immediately uploaded, and we get an email. We're able to interface with the teachers directly based on our concerns. So I honestly think that it's the technology and the resources are out there if parents are willing to make those connections. I think the bigger part is, like you said, our parents are becoming more lazy and not utilizing or taking advantage of the resources that are out there.
And I think that I have to go here in a minute, but I think that you can backtrack that to if you look at that overall, that is the degradation of the American family. First of all,
kids having kids, right?
Huh?
Kids having kids.
Well, kids having kids, but then also the assault from the. I hate to use the terms left and right, but the progressive ideal is to eliminate the American family. If you look at all of their social change bullet points, if you look at how that proceeds, that is a direct assault on the American home, the American family, as it is traditionally viewed. And if you look what it's done to how parenting is done in America these days, I will say that I had excellent parents, and all my friends, they may have had, they may have not been a cohesive family as far as like mom and dad both in the home at the same time. I had friends that had divorced parents or parents that one parent had died or something like that. Even friends that were adopted when I was growing up, and the parenting skills that those people, that generation had compared to my generation now, it's laughable. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting when I see people I grew up with who are now having children, and how they handled their kids, and as far as discipline and rewards and punishment systems and all that sort of stuff, and it's disgusting. I mean, it really is.
Well,
I would have. The switch has come out of the home and has been replaced with the PlayStation.
well,
And
not only that, but I also think a bigger part of that is government. I think that government has really
I agree.
tied the hands of some parents that would be willing to go back to a, let's say, let's just call it corporal punishment, if you will. You know, back in the old days, you know, what my dad did, you know, of course, my dad was hardcore military, and we got spanked, and he was strict but fair. And nowadays, you've got you've got the government telling you can't spank your kids. Shit, I think it's even in New Hampshire that I think is it New Hampshire? I think it's New Hampshire that you
yeah, I think you're
literally
right. I think you're
cannot spank your it's a fucking felony to spank your children.
and that is criminal, because I tell you what, some of the best lessons I learned were from getting my ass beat, or
Exactly.
if not myself, from watching Tactical Bacon
So
get his ass beat.
you got to think about this country as a whole, where we've gone soft. We've let the government come in and be our guide to how to raise our children, and it's not for the better. It's, you know, it's hurt this country as a whole, and so you've got parents that are scared to lay a finger on their kids with fear of government coming in and interfering, getting child services called on you because you spanked your child and they went to school and told the teacher that their mama beats them or whatever. It's ridiculous, you know.
It is, and this is again, this is why it's exceptionally important. A lot of people and I have to go like pretty soon, so this is gonna be my last point. This is why it's exceptionally important, people, that you vote in every election. I mean, I'm not talking just the general elections. I'm not talking for political offices even. You have the ability to go to your school board meetings and make changes there. Like these are things that are within your power to do. You just have to get off your ass and do them. So we're talking like you need to go to everything. If you care about this sort of stuff in your community and want it to change, if you don't like what you're seeing, or you don't like what you are seeing and don't want it to go that way, then you need to do something about it, and you can do it. You can do that, and you can get like-minded individuals to go to these sort of gatherings and elections and do things about it, especially in the smaller elections that are downplayed because you have more of a voice. Fuck vote Hillary. Whoever just said that, I'm not. We shouldn't even be mentioning her name. But anyway, I gotta go. Thank you guys very much for having me on. And it's always good to hop in on some of these things. These ones are a little late based on my work schedule, but I was able to hop on today for a few minutes because of some free up things. But anyway, I got to go right now. So you guys take care and keep your powder dry.
I think Hillary Clinton would be a good president. Refreshing change.
Fuck that.
Yep.
Well, on what we're saying, Stone Guy, to be honest, if my mom didn't spank me, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be doing multiple years in a maximum security penitentiary somewhere, probably.
Well,
I can honestly admit that because even though my mom spanked me as a child, I was still a horrible bastard when I hit my teens. I can only imagine if she hadn't laid down the law ahead of time.
So, something else I'm starting to see, well, I've been seeing it for a while, is, you know, they're not letting kids be kids. They, you know, get rambunctious and stuff because they're not burning the energy that they need to burn. So they sit in a class and they start being rambunctious. And all we want to do as a society is shove Ritalin or any other medicine down their throats
It's okay
to calm them down. And then all of a sudden it just retards their mental growth, so they're still acting out as teenagers whenever they're up in their 20s.
I have
having kids, and they don't know how to raise kids, and on and on and on.
I have a niece that's going through that exact thing right now. She has classic middle child syndrome. She's Jan Brady. She just needs a little extra attention. But instead of that being provided to her by her parents, they're basically shoving her off to a doctor and institutionalizing her and fucking up her life. Sorry for the language, but she can't own a gun anymore now because of what they did to her. At least not for a long, long time. And if certain laws pass, she can never get a gun.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Just-
And even above that, I'm not, guns aside, is pumping them full of all these drugs that shut off brain waves to keep them calmer.
Well,
All it's going to do is retard their mental maturity. So whenever they get up into teenagers, and get off of it, if they do get off of it, their maturity isn't going to be there. They get up in their 20s and they're acting like teenagers. You ask them a question why you did something, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Something like a 5 or 6 year old would say.
Or even better, she got a permanent doctor's note because some of those medicines literally turned her into a zombie where she was sleeping 18, 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
She literally slept for a full week when they first put her on them. I think she would literally wake up enough to go to the bathroom a few times and
I think
get a
it's
small bite, and she was back down.
It's definitely overused and overprescribed, overdiagnosed, and like I said, it's 20 years ago, you didn't have the diagnosis like you do now. It's like you said, teachers are less willing to work with children. They want to just give them some drugs and be done with it.
Well, that's part of the pharmaceutical society or pharmaceutical lobbyists. Because back whenever, I'm 34, back whenever I was a kid, to have someone put on Ritalin or something like that, or even in my 20s, you had to go through multiple doctors. Now, you have a teacher fill out, a 4 or 5 answer question. If they have answered 3 of them, boom, Ritalin.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it was right after you, and because I'm just a little bit younger than you, and right after me, where that really started to happen. But that's also right about when the news really started, the fear-mongering. Columbine happened right after that, for example.
Yep.
Well, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm beat. I'm going to shut it down here. Thanks for everybody watching out there. Good little chat. Kind of odd way from going from where we were in the beginning to the parental rearing chat, but thanks for all the panelists that showed up, and appreciate everybody's support, and we will see you next time.
Good show. Thanks for the